Hey guys, today we are talking postpartum care. I originally wasn't gonna film this video for maternity leave, which I'm very pregnant while filming it, but it's something I want you guys to see after I've had Roman. So you're still getting content, but I wanted to share this. So I shared it on my TikTok, I shared it on my Instagram. I got a lot of great feedback and I was like, you know what, why not I put something like this on YouTube, because I really like YouTube is one of the first platforms I go to for research and stuff like that, and like things I want to look up about what other people recommend. And I don't know if this video is really out there as far as like postpartum care essentials. So just like with everything else, this is what worked for me and it may not work for you. I have some reasons why I like certain things, why I don't like other things. But this is just how you're gonna be able to care for yourself after you have a baby. And before you guys hit me with your hospital will give you that, save your money, your hospital will give you that, I definitely recommend not opening yours if you've never given birth and you don't know how your hospital is or you haven't asked around. Like, buy the supplies, keep the receipts, keep that stuff, and return it if you don't need it. But my hospital literally sent me home with 4 pads. It was like a sample pack of Tucks. Like, I've never seen this small of a pack of Tucks in my life. So like 10 of them, and a tube of hydrocortisone cream, and then an empty peri bottle. And like the postpartum nurse I had, she was very much so stretched thin, so I'm not here to like bash her, but she literally walked in the room, goes, here you go, hands it all to me, and left. Like, did not give me a chance to ask a single question. And I turned around and I looked at my mom and I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I've never heard of someone talking about hydrocortisone cream for postpartum. Like, what do I do with this stuff? So my mom showed me how to use a lot of it. So that is why I had to get this stuff, which is why I'm starting this labor with this stuff at home, because I just know what I'm gonna be getting. So I will start out by saying that you are most likely going to be given the mesh panties and a pad. So people told me you'll either hate them or love them. I had a horrible experience, something I was not prepared for after labor. No one warned me, and I just didn't think about it, how much fluid you lose. And you know what fluid I'm talking about. I don't want to say it here because I'm trying not to be too gory, but I was not prepared. So I had to use the bathroom, and they said a nurse needs to go with you because you had an epidural. And I was like, cool, I can feel my legs. I know I have to use the bathroom. Can I walk? And it was like one of the girls that just like transport you, like she was a nurse, and she was like, let me go grab your nurse. 10 minutes go by, nothing. So I hit the call button and my mom goes, Moriah, it's actually shift change. Like, you're probably not gonna get anybody right now. And I was like, I have to use the bathroom. Hit the call button again 10 minutes later. So it's been 20 minutes. At this point, I'm like rocking back and forth. I'm like, Mom, I have to use the bathroom. So Sam gets up, helps me go to the bathroom, and I pulled down the mesh panties and the pad like kind of stuck and the mesh panties came down. And before I knew it, the whole pad just fell. There was fluid on the walls, on the toilet, on me, everywhere. And even Sam walked, like he was standing at the door frame, and then he like turned around and he goes, how did this happen this fast? And I was like, I don't even know. And that was actually very scarring for me. So that's why I don't want to use mesh panties, because I wasn't aware of how much fluid. Like, I was kind of freaking out because I was like, all of this is coming out of me. Like, this is really scary. And that was the one time in labor I was like, this is a lot. Enter these bad boys, okay? These are amazing. People told me you're either gonna love or hate the mesh panties. I hated them. These are incredible. These are the Always Discreet Boutique. How cute. Underwear. I really, really like these. You can definitely put a pad in these to not have to take the whole thing off every time. The whole reason why I like these is because I am scarred from that one pad falling. And so I think these are incredible because they are super absorbent. You don't need a pad in them if you don't want to. I will never wear a pad in them, but you literally just like pull it up. Like, you can do all the little, you can line your tucks in here and all that stuff. You just pull them up and you wear them. And then when you go to the bathroom, you take it off and you toss it in the trash. And it's just so simple. So I really like these. You can find, at least from what my experience is, you can find the best price at Sam's Club. But a lot of people told me that Amazon has their own brand that's very affordable. And I think even Sam's Club has their own brand. And some people said like Walmart has their own brand. So I can only speak to like what I know, but I can tell you this. I'm taking these to the hospital with me this time. And And when she goes, my sweet, lovely nurse, to help me with my mesh panties, I'm just like, can we just go ahead and put the whole diaper on me? Because I can't do that again. So I really, really love these. I think they are the best after labor. Again, you can line them with pads if you wish, but personally, it's not my preference. I needed those for about 6 days. That was kind of the whole time frame for me, until I noticed that, and I'm a redhead, so I had, like, even the doctor was very open. She was like, I'm not taking your IV out for at least 24 hours. She was like, you are a redhead. Redheads are known to bleed a little bit more, need a little bit more assistance when it comes to anything related to blood loss. And she was like, I am not taking that IV out. It's gonna stay in for 24 hours. And it did, and it was miserable. So for me to have only bled for 6 days, I felt like that was pretty good. And then I did move on to thicker pads. I really only needed these for like 4 or 5 days, I think, and I probably could have gone to something a little bit less earlier, but I was a little nervous. So I do have some of these really thick pads. These are something you can get from your hospital, but again, my hospital sent me home with nothing. So I was super disappointed, and everyone telling me like, you're gonna get so much stuff. And I was like, I didn't though. So I do have some really big pads with wings. Get them as long as you can get them, just in case, even if you want to like line your underwear, mesh panties, whatever you choose to buy with the pads. But for me, I moved on to these about 6 days postpartum, so I did want to go ahead and have some on hand. So next we'll talk actual products. So a couple things I did not love last time, but that doesn't mean you won't. Dermaplast. I find that Dermaplast, a lot of people who rave about it have stitches. I did not have to have like lots of stitches. The doctor literally told me, she was like, I'm giving you 1 stitch. And she was like, it's a 1st degree internal tear. And she was like, it might be even like, it's not even necessary. She was like, but I'm a little meticulous and I want to give you this 1 stitch because I feel like it looks weird. And I was like, I can't see it. So if you think it looks weird, let's fix it. So she gave me like my 1 stitch. And fortunately, that 1 stitch gave me 0 complications. So I have heard people say Dermaplast is great, and the Freedom Mom foam I think is really good. A lot of people talked about those 2 things in the TikTok video that I shared the other day. I don't have those in here, but I will tell you that if you do stitches, no stitches, best labor, easiest, no ripping or tearing, tons of ripping or tearing, you're still gonna need one of these, okay? The hospital has the worst one ever, so I recommend buying one of these and taking it with you to the hospital. A lot of people said Amazon has a great one. It's like $8. This is the Freedom Mom brand. I didn't know Amazon had one, but you're just gonna fill this up with warm water, tip it over, and then it will spray up. And it's just a lot easier to use since you can't wipe after you give birth. So, and it does like, you know, go down like that, and you can just store it really easy. But that's like, you definitely need to take this to the hospital, because that's what she literally gave me, like a white and clear like squirt bottle, and it only had one option to shoot up. And I was like, thank God I brought my Freedom Mom one, because I get why people don't like this, because like it can shoot out really aggressively or whatever. So you're gonna want at least one of these. I bought 2. They are incredible. It's just, it even feels better than wiping, but you're gonna want this no matter what. Like easiest labor, most difficult labor, doesn't matter, you're gonna want one of these. Now tucks, I personally really liked right after I gave birth. They are super, super cooling, but they're very expensive. And that's why I made the TikTok video the other day, because sitting right beside each other was the Tux brand. It was 100 count for like $8. This was sitting literally right beside it. Exact same ingredients. This is from Target. I'll link it below for y'all. Exact same ingredients, exact same amount for like $3. I think it was like $3.47. So you're gonna save a lot of money. You're probably not gonna use 100 of them. You might. They feel so good after you give birth. So what you're gonna do is you're either gonna take your little mesh panties pad or your Always Discreet Boutique underwear, and you're just gonna line these up, and it's gonna feel so, so good. I know some people like the Freedom Mom ice packs. I personally don't feel like they're that absorbent, and it feels like you're kind of sitting on a block of ice, which can be very helpful, but you could absolutely hate it. It just is up to you. I found that these were just like easier and so, so cooling. So, Witch Hazel also has like, I think it's, helps if you like have an itch or anything. So these are great. You're gonna want these, I promise. Feel very good. But after about 6 days, whenever I reached that point where I was no longer wearing these diapers, I just wanted something that I could like, we are getting all kinds of nitty gritty here today, that I could like dab, you know, like when you're, after you go to the bathroom, just like dab. And that is where these medicated wipes came in. You could also choose to line your underwear or mesh panties with these just because they're a little bit bigger and it's not individual pads, because this is essentially the exact same ingredient. Freedom Mom has 24 wipes for $13, or you can get this Target brand, exact same thing, and it's 48 wipes, I think, for like $4. So much more affordable, whether you choose to use one, both, whatever, it's up to you. I just preferred these like to kind of just dab everything when we reached about 6 days postpartum and that initial like shock had worn off. Now I waited far too late to use this cream. And again, we're getting so nitty gritty here today. TMI. The doctor's exact words, I still had my legs up in the stirrups, and keep in mind, I was told if your kid's not born within 20 minutes, you're having a C-section kind of thing. He had the cord wrapped around his neck twice, and something just came over me, and like, I can't explain it to you. It was like no one and nothing could prevent me from pushing my child out. Like nothing. So your girl got herself some hemorrhoids, and in the doctor's exact words, I mean, they're not the worst I've ever seen, but they're up there. It was horrible. I made the mistake of looking. I should not have looked. I took a mirror and I looked, and it was awful. 0 out of 10. Don't do that. If you care about yourself postpartum, don't do that. But they took a really long time to heal. And I was literally a couple days shy of my 6-week postpartum checkup. And I was like, Mom, they cannot lance this. They cannot mess with this. It hurts still. What am I supposed to do? And she was like, why have you not used Preparation H? Like, she didn't even know I was still dealing with this. And I literally was like, I don't know. I went and bought Preparation H, and within 24 hours, 100% of them were healed. 24 hours. So this time we got these rolling. So I find these to be a comfort item. These feel a lot better. They help kind of just ease everything. This is gonna fix it. This is gonna like heal your hemorrhoids. So again, I think you can get like Preparation H for like $7. It was like a 0.8 ounce tube. This was like 4 or 5 for 1.8 ounces. So definitely recommend having this. Your girl is not ready. And then the last product that I wanted to share with you guys is stool softeners. So this is another thing I heard on TikTok. Some people said my hospital did not even sort of mention stool softeners. Like this is the first I've heard of it, and I've had, 1 or 2 kids. So I was actually told, take some stool softeners leading up to your due date if you have not yet had your baby. Of course, no one knows when they're going into labor unless you have a scheduled induction. So that's what someone told me. She said 5 days out from your due date, if you still haven't given birth, go ahead and just start your stool softeners. They take a little bit of time to work. So what they'll tell you on the directions is usually like 1 to 3 a day. Take like 1 a day. That way, by the time you get to whenever you give birth, and then you actually get like the medical grade that your doctor's gonna call in for you, it's just gonna help a lot more, because that first time you go to the bathroom after you give birth is actually one of the most terrifying moments of your life. Like I told Tim, I was like, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. And the stool softeners actually helped a ton. So your doctor may not give them to you. You definitely can ask for them. I recommend asking for them. My doctor told me straight up, she was like, I'm just gonna give you a prescription for some. When we were like sitting here talking about everything after labor. And so she was like, you can definitely take your generic brand. She was like, but I'm gonna write you a script. You don't have to fill it if you don't want to. Well, yeah, it was way stronger, so I went ahead and filled that. But I do recommend getting some stool softeners. I did take another thing, it was on my TikTok. I took a picture, I think it was like, you can get the name brand, like 28 capsules for like $8 or something, or 160 capsules for $3 or $4. Yeah, you're probably not gonna need 160, but you're still gonna save $4. So y'all know I like to save that money anywhere I can, anytime, especially if it's something like that. It's very beneficial. So that is it. I was very chatty in this video. I shared a lot, TMI. I don't think I've ever been that open with people on the internet, but I I feel like there was a lot of stuff that I had done my own, like I watched videos like this, I watched TikToks, I kind of really tried to prep myself for what to expect postpartum, but so many people were like, you don't need that stuff, like your hospital's gonna give it to you, and no one warned me about how much fluid loss you have after you give birth, and those were just things that I was so dumbfounded by. So I hope this video helped. I hope that some of y'all see this and know, like, it's gonna be okay. Don't let any of this scare you. That's another thing I'll hear new moms say. They'll be like, this is so scary. Honestly, it is not that bad, because yes, you're swollen, you're uncomfortable, you know, there's a lot of pain down there, but you're like looking at this baby and literally you're like, I would do that 400 million more times over for you. Like, it's almost like you're just in this like blissful like phase where you're just kind of like, it doesn't even matter. Like, yes, I can feel my heartbeat down there, but you have this sweet little baby, so it's like all worth it. Don't be scared. It's gonna be fine, I promise. Like, all that crazy blood loss, all that stuff, it will subside after like a week or so, maybe sooner, maybe a little bit later, but it's not this terrifying thing that, and it also shouldn't be this thing that we just like don't talk about. Like, oh, you should never speak about that. Like, we all go through it when we have babies. Let's just talk about it, and let's make sure that women don't wind up looking like they killed someone and all of their blood is on the walls. So thank y'all for watching. Very chatty video. Hope that you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Definitely make sure to follow me on my TikTok and Insta, where I share a lot of mom stuff as well. I try to keep this mainly fashion based, but we do sprinkle in some mom content here and there. Follow me over on the vlog channel. I'll link that right there for y'all. I share lots of regular vlogs as well. Love you so much, and I'll see y'all in my next video.